Holy hell, man. Before we do start this video, I just want to give a big thank you to every single one of you that ended up watching yesterday's video. Well, I posted 3 of them, but the main one being Hawkmoon versus Tanix. That video got around 40,000 views in the span of like 11 hours, man. So if any of my new subscribers are watching this, or just anyone new in general, thank you guys so much for all the love and support, and I hope you guys enjoy it here on the channel. Guys, today we're going to be going over the Destiny 2 developer update that was posted just yesterday among all the chaos of the Iron Banner reprised weapons, Hawkmoon, and everything that was going on. This is actually something that Bungie dropped on top of all of that, and we're going to be going over it in today's video. This is a pretty big update that goes over a lot of different things in Destiny, from Transmog news, when we're going to be seeing it, as well as an early preview of what it's going to look like, Crossplay being 100% confirmed for 2021, a bunch of fan favorite rewards from Destiny 1 making their way into Destiny 2, and a lot more. So without further ado, we're going to go and jump into it, but if you guys want to read it for yourself, the link to this post will be in the description. They start off the post by saying, "Hey everybody, my name is Joe Blackburn and I'm the assistant game director on Destiny 2. If your free time looks anything like mine, you've been spending a lot of it on Europa over the past few weeks. Some of you may know me from my previous Bungie life when I worked with the raid team and on Season of Opulence. I'm back thanks to a revive from Luke and the team as we work together to create a Destiny 2 future that we're all excited about. Today I want to spend some time with you on a subject that is near and dear to every Destiny 2 player's heart: rewards. There's a thing that I ask a lot around the virtual office. How are we making every season the best time to jump back into Destiny? Destiny is a very large and complex game, and while this is what also makes it the game we love, we want Destiny 2 to continue to evolve and to be a world with momentum. Introducing infusion caps is part of addressing this, a way to make sure that the overall number of rewards that Guardians need to care about in order to be competitive isn't prohibitive. It is also a way to continue evolving with each season's meta, while at the same time making sure that players still have a ton of options when choosing what they want to bring into the next challenge. Our goal from the beginning with these caps is to improve and keep D2 fresh over time. What we're most looking forward to is how the system will introduce innovation to the season over season meta, how creative builds from the community will shine, and how we can continue to deliver more unique handcrafted gear that aligns with the world narrative and where the universe is going. While we're still hard at work on improvements to how we rotate gear out of the Destiny Power ecosystem, there were a few clear-cut misses with our first rollout. The initial reward pool with this release was just too small, and that it's frustrating to be playing Destiny and see another player use a weapon that is no longer obtainable. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking rewards, but before we deep dive, let's get the TLDR out there. Today, we're going to be making some big commitments. With each season in Year 4, Destiny 2 will grow the overall power ecosystem for weapons. With very few exceptions, all weapons you can take to the power cap should still be earnable in-game. And future annual releases will contain more new weapons to collect than Beyond Light or Shadowkeep. So before we go and move on to the next section of this blog post, let's go and talk about this really quick. I think that this is fantastic news to hear from the people over at Bungie. I do agree that whenever Beyond Light did come out, the loot pool was extremely lackluster on what you were actually able to get. Yes, the Beyond Light weapons that did come out, and the raid weapons as well, and some of the stuff from the season, mainly the SMG and the grenade launcher, were cool, and they were very well made and well thought out, especially from some of the new perks and the way that the weapons actually roll. But overall, in terms of like overall loot that you can actually get, it just felt like everything that you were getting was just really samey, and you weren't really having that much variety, so that this actually right here is pretty good to hear. They do make a promise here that future annual releases will contain more new weapons than Beyond Light or Shadowkeep ever did, so that's a good part on Bungie to actually make this promise, because like I said, the weapon variety in this current sandbox was pretty bad up until the point that they brought back some of the older seasons of. So this is really good to hear, and I'm glad that Bungie is committed to it. They go on to say that with Beyond Light, we took on the huge challenge of rebuilding our technology from the ground up. One of the benefits of this was improving the speeds with which we could make and update Destiny. You've already seen some of those gains since launch, with updates such as buffing the legendary engram coming in much faster than we've been able to do in the past. But Season 13 will be here in just a couple of months, very soon in the world of Destiny development, so let's talk about how we're continuing to leverage our technology to act with agility. They say that S13 is the first chance for us to prove our commitment to growing the overall power ecosystem with each release in Year 4, and we want to make sure of that with each new season. There are more weapons to take take with you to tackle the ordeal or master bunker than there were before. While I won't be spoiling what new stuff you'll be able to chase in our new season, I did want to touch on a few changes we made to the reward offering specifically based on what we've seen in Beyond Light. The first thing they say is Season 13, we're adding 6 new legendary weapons to our ritual activities, 2 each for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. In addition to the weapons above, Nightfall strikes are getting 3 unique weapons, with the Palindrome, the Swarm, and Shadow Price all making their Destiny 2 debuts. If you're brave enough to take on the Grandmaster Nightfall, you'll also be able to earn Adept versions of these weapons. So, this is big news right here as well. The first thing I want to touch on, they say that they're adding 6 new legendary weapons to the ritual activities for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. Listen, this is a system that came from Destiny 1. In Destiny 1, you used to be able to grind strikes for a pulse rifle known as the Hopscotch Pilgrim. This was in the strike-specific loot pool. It wasn't a strike-specific loot drop, as in you can only get it from one strike, but it came from the loot pool as strikes as a whole. And this was renowned throughout the Crucible as one of the best pulse rifles in the game, and it made grinding strikes enjoyable because you actually knew that although you were also leveling up, your reputation with the Vanguard and with factions, you also have a chance to get a god-rolled Hopscotch Pilgrim while running your way through strikes. The same thing was for the IS Luna in Crucible. I like that Bungie is expanding on this because with this newest season, we got a new pulse rifle in Crucible, we got a shotgun with the Vanguard, and we also got a grenade launcher in Gambit. This is a Destiny 1 system that worked amazing, and I'm glad that Bungie's expanding on it. I do wish that they added more weapons to the loot pool, but hopefully as seasons go on, they will continue to do this and make actually running these core activities worth your time just for a few god rolls that are in that loot pool. And then they also mention, of course, these fan favorites from Destiny 1, the Palindrome, hand cannon, the Swarm machine gun, and the classic Destiny 1 auto rifle Shadow Price making their Destiny 2 debuts. And they also talk about earning Adept versions of these weapons in the Grandmasters. This is fantastic because Grandmasters just recently got buffed to be able to give you, Ascendant shards guaranteed, and they also have these double loot weeks that go on for stuff like Lake of Shadows and everything. This is really good for people that do not play Trials of Osiris or don't want to have to play Trials of Osiris to get Adept weapons. And for those guys that don't know what Adept weapons are, they basically are just super increased versions of regular weapons. Whenever you masterwork them, you pretty much get an increase on all of these stats entirely. You also get Adept specific mods and everything like that. So it's basically just a regular weapon but with a bunch of stat increases. So this is some really good news right here. Bungie then moves on and they say that Season 13 not only represents the start of our commitment to growing the power ecosystem, but it also is an opportunity for us to help to improve how we can keep Destiny accessible to new players. New Guardians are essential to the health of our community, and as with our investment in features like the new light introduction on the Cosmodrome, we must also invest in making sure the reward structure of Destiny is approachable to everyone. In a recent patch, we added the Season 10 and 11 weapons to the World Drop pool, and we removed the Season 9 weapons. This was important for a few reasons. We want to make sure that players have a way to earn all of the power-relevant weaponry in the live game. If a group of new Guardians is just getting into the Grandmaster Nightfalls, and they see guides on YouTube involving Warmind cells, we need to provide a path for them to participate, which, by the way, can I just say that this is fantastic news. I get questions all the time on my live stream, Joey, how did you get this weapon? How do you get that? And then every single time I need to tell them, well, you can't get it anymore. And that really sucks for newer players, so I'm glad they're doing something like this. At the same time, we don't want to be clogging up the reward streams with weapons that are about to exit the power ecosystem. So anything that's only going to be around for a few more months shouldn't be something a player can accidentally obtain. So that would make sense as to why stuff that's just about to get sunset isn't something that people are going to be able to obtain, seeing as they won't be able to carry it into the next season. So I can totally see where they're coming from there. And Season 13 will continue to allow all players to gain Season 11 and 12 weapons in the World Drop pool, while Season 10 weapons will be attainable through a more prescriptive source. This means that legendary engrams will no longer reward the soon to expire weapons. If you want to chase a specific piece of soon to be capped loot, you'll find it with the Gunsmith. This is all part of our larger commitment to make sure that players can always earn anything that they might take on challenging activities. That said, this will require a few exceptions and some updates to the live game. So from the sounds of it, let's say Fallen Guillotine is about to sunset, you would actually be able to grab this from the Gunsmith himself, like if you wanted to. That way it's not clogging up your loot pool and you're getting something that's about to sunset instead of something that you could carry on into the next few seasons. They say as far as exceptions, we don't plan on adding methods for players to acquire holiday weapons like Breedtech Werewolf outside of the yearly celebrations. For updates, this does mean in Season 13, we'll be adding limited time quest weapons like Fellwinter's Lie, Whisper of the Worm, and Outbreak Perfected to the exotic kiosk in the tower. So Fellwinter's Lie, glad to finally have it in the actual kiosk. I think that the weapon's absolutely busted and there doesn't need to be a shotgun that is that powerful, but if you're gonna have it in the game, you should at least make it accessible to other players so that they're not at an instant disadvantage the second they're not using something like Astral Horizon with opening shot. Pretty much everything else doesn't really compete as well. Now, they then go on to say that after covering things that we'd like to change, I want to spend some time talking about what must stay the same. Destiny is a game built on exciting rewards, from Bastion to the Ikelos SMG to Fallen Guillotine. These rewards over the last year have continued to evolve the way the Guardians play. In Beyond Light, I believe the reward team nailed it with incredible new legendary perks like Recombination, Thresh, Chain Reaction, and Reconstruction. I agree. And alongside these perks came what I believe is one of the best lineups of exotic weapons and armor in Destiny history. Definitely agree there. I think stuff like the Lament and the Cloud Strike and everything like that, just they are freaking beautiful. But where we succeeded in quality, we failed in quantity. Even as Season 12, the Deepstone Crypt and the full breadth of the Europa weapons came online, the total count of weapons in Beyond Light is lower than we want. So we're making the commitment now that our future annual releases will have more weapons than Beyond Light or Shadowkeep. There's no way for us to make more rewards at Destiny standards and still maintain the health of our current team. Therefore, we're going to reinforce the rewards team with more talent that will allow us to deliver quality and quantity in the future. Basically, more people. That is awesome to hear. Molding someone new into a master Destiny gunsmith will take time, and this isn't going to be a change that the community will feel next week, but it does put our best foot forward as we step towards the Witch Queen and Nightfall. Lastly, Bungie dropped some big freaking bombs. They say increasing the reward team size is one of our long-term initiatives, but it's not the only upgrade to our gear rotation plan that we want to get into the oven. We envision a better solution for how armor intersects with infusion caps. The personality of armor comes from mods right now, so getting a new piece of armor often means that you're just finding a piece of armor that replicates the stat allocation you already have on a piece in your vault. While we're not ready to talk concretely about armor plans right now, we do want to get more gameplay novelty on armor itself so that looting a piece of armor in a new season has the potential to change the way you play. So potentially we might see some set bonuses, like if you have a full set of the Prophecy dungeon gear, will you get a bonus in some way? Have no idea, but I hope so. Expect to hear more about armor and other holistic upgrades to the way gear rotates in and out of the power ecosystem as we harden our plans in the new year. Now here's the big one. And that next year will be here before you know it. A big chunk of our team will be taking some hard-earned time to rest and relax ahead of coming back to the studio and diving into 2021. We have a lot of work to do, and while I'm looking forward to the break, I also can't wait to get to work on some of the huge stuff that we have coming in the new year. Without spoiling too much, here's a brief teaser of what's on their way in Destiny 2 Year 4. First up, Transmog will be coming in Season 14. More details to come. See work in progress screen captures below, not final and may change. Here are the screenshots of Transmogrification. For those of you guys that do not know what this is, Transmog is essentially the system that allows you to take any armor piece in the game, make it into a universal ornament so that, let's say for example, I can have a Vanguard chest piece equipped, but I can make it look like the Raid chest piece. So it allows you to take any gear in the game, allows you to make it into an ornament for any other armor piece that you have, and right here that we can see through these screenshots, Bungie is basically making customizing our Guardian not so freaking tedious and is making it look a lot better at the same time. Very much reminds me of stuff like Halo Reach as well as Halo 5 in terms of whenever you're customizing your Spartans or looking at them. They say that also DDoS protection for Destiny 2 players will be on all consoles coming in Season 13, whereas PC has to deal with cheaters in Trials of Osiris, console has to deal with DDoSers. So I'm very glad to hear that as well. I kind of wish we had some more updates on anti-cheat though, but you know, they say that Vault of Glass is going to be returning the raid from Venus as we already knew. I'm very excited for this raid, cannot wait for it to come back to the game. They say that Crossplay is confirmed coming in 2021, so if you guys have people that play on different consoles or play on PC, prepare yourselves for some really fun crossplay action in Destiny 2. I know that there's a lot of concern on how this is going to work for the Crucible PvE. Obviously, people don't care that much. In my opinion, I don't think that crossplay is going to be enabled between console and PC players unless a console and PC player are in a party and then they start matchmaking into Crucible. They'll probably only matchmake with other people who have a mix mash of platforms whenever you're actually going into a Crucible game. So I know that console players probably don't want to guaranteed get into matches with PC players whenever they're only playing with their console buddies, and I don't think that's going to be a problem unless you're matching with other people who are mishmashing platforms. They also say that 2 strikes, the Fallen Saber and Devil's Lair, are coming in Destiny 2 in Season 13. This is something that we already knew, but I'm glad to hear it yet again. Both of these strikes are really good and from the Cosmodrome. And then they also say that Legendary and Master Lost Sector rotation will be expanded to include the Lost Sectors on the Moon in Season 13, and there will be 3 new exotic armor pieces for you to chase. Honestly, one of the best additions that they had in Beyond Light was the Legendary and Master Lost Sectors. I think that they're absolutely fantastic piece of content, and I'm glad that Bungie is reinforcing them. But guys, that is it for the Destiny 2 dev update. Freaking man, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, dude. But honestly, I am so excited for the future of Destiny. Whenever Beyond Light did launch, I was a little bit concerned because the best piece of content that it had was the raid, and I had no idea what Bungie was going to be doing after that, and seeing, you know, what kind of new content we're going to be getting after the raid came out. And now that I've seen this, and obviously that we've had the stuff with Hawkmoon just yesterday and a lot of that craziness going on, I'm very excited for what Bungie has planned, especially in the next season, and especially the next season after that for Transmog. Of course, eventually we're going to get Vault of Glass. We don't know what season specifically, but very excited for that as well. And crossplay being 100% confirmed for 2021 is awesome too. But guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. I personally absolutely love this update. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.